So a lot of you might know this, but if you didn't, I've never read Harry Potter before. I was never interested growing up. I've seen so many people get really into it, but I just wasn't about it. I started a new job, and of course, I work at a publishing house. There's bookish fans. I was bound to come into contact with a Harry Potter fan. Turns out most of my team are Harry Potter fans. So, you know, long story short, they got me into reading it, and we now have a book club that circulates around the Harry Potter series. I mean, I made it this far, so I like the series. And we're finally at the last. So throughout my reading experience, not only have I been sharing my thoughts with the book club, but I've also been sharing reactions on Instagram. Reactions are basically me reacting. I would read a few chapters and I would stop and, you know, boop 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 my reactions into an Instagram template, which I'll kind of show over here what it usually looks like. And I would do that every time I had a reading session. I thought it would be a lot more exciting to film my reactions along the way, which is what this video is about. We're gonna get it on camera. Apparently this last book is intense, and you guys think I'm going to shed tears. And I don't doubt you, I might be, who knows. And I'm definitely going to record my final thoughts of the entire series all the way at the end of this. So we'll see if I make it out okay. I can't believe I made it this far, honestly. But it's been great. I'm a little nervous. Please forgive me if I make mistakes along the way. I might say wrong things. I might make incredibly inaccurate predictions or theories. I'm just reacting, and I don't know anything. I just hope you enjoy it. Let's do this. I just read about 70 pages into book 7, and I have really puffy eyes because I hate you people for making me read this series. It is so messed up. So Hedwig just died, and that was not expecting. I was not expecting that. I pretty much like burst out crying just now, and Ian was just like, what is going on? I don't even want to continue reading this, to be honest with you. This book is like a little over 700 pages, and we're 70 pages in, and I'm already bawling, and I don't think I am mentally prepared for this. We gotta keep going, I guess. So Rita Skeeter is back, which is kind of confusing. She's totally smack-talking Dumbledore. I do know that a lot of this book is explaining Dumbledore's past, and I'm not sure what we're gonna learn and why it's so important, but I am interested in seeing that plotline. Sorry if the camera is really shaky. I just finished bawling. Two things that I really enjoyed so far. One thing was Dudley's goodbye to Harry. I thought that was quite respectable and honestly a little bit scary as well, because if that's something that's a little bit, you know, playing on the heartstrings, then I don't know what's gonna happen. This is probably false hope, but I'm just hoping that Fred and George make it out of this okay, which I just have a feeling that they're not, but oh my gosh. Anyway, that's all I've got for this reactions. I cannot believe that my first reaction ever for this vlog started with me crying. See you in the next reading session. Hopefully this wasn't too shaky and irritating for you. Okay guys, so I'm kind of in a weird place right now. I'm currently at work. It looks a little funny, but yeah, I just spent most of my lunch break reading, and I'm up to like page 160. Moody, I cannot believe he's dead. I didn't have such a dramatic response as I did with Hedwig for some reason. I'm not sure why, but that was like, whoa. And it definitely answered my suspicions of things getting really worse really fast. what was really sad was Hermione and Ron basically sacrificing their families in order to fight this fight. I think it's a little messed up, but it's all for the greater good, I guess. Okay, what are these items that Dumbledore is giving Hermione, Ron, and Harry? Obviously, these are something that are like seemingly not important, but they're obviously going to be important, and Dumbledore knew from the very get-go that Harry was going to tell Hermione and Ron everything, and so I'm just so curious as to what these items are going to be used for. I'm sure they're going to be like really unique things. And lastly, the minister is dead. What the? I knew something was going to happen at the wedding. I just had a feeling it was going to be a whole bunch of festivities, and then boom, something super crazy is going to happen at the end. And of course, the minister dies. The whole time you're like, screw the minister. He's dead though, so now what? I don't know what the story is gonna, or how it's gonna go now. I can't read no more. I can't do this. I'll talk to you later. Also, oh my god, I'm now noticing that my hair looks a lot like Snape's hair. It's just so dumb. I cannot believe. Hey everybody, I'm back. It's been a few days since I last did a reaction video. I just lost time, but I'm back at work and I'm now a little bit past page 300. I'm actually nearing page 400 soon. A lot's happened since. Tonks is pregnant. What? And Lupin's pretty upset about it, and I mean, I get why Lupin is upset, but at the same time he's kind of being irresponsible. I would say it's kind of scary bringing up a kid in this situation, but I mean, that's in the assumption that all things are gonna go bad, and I don't think that's how these things work. I think it's gonna be fine. And then Umbridge with the Horcrux. I didn't see that one coming at all. Oh, that's a really cool tie-in to a character coming from a different series, a different book in the series. I thought that was really cool. Speaking of fun to read, that entire chapter at the Ministry where Harry, Ron, and Hermione are, using the potion, the Polyjuice potion, and the invisibility cloak, and, doing this crazy mission to get the Horcrux from Umbridge's office was, like, one of the best chapters I've read in the series. This is a lot of what Harry Potter is about and why the series is so charming and so interesting and engaging for people who are reading, because that was so much fun. Well, I've gotten up to the moment where Ron is officially out of the trio. For the past book, or the past 2 books, it was a lot of Ron and Hermione doing their side thing and fighting and bickering, and Harry was kind of like by himself. Book 7 is quite different than any other book. I personally do enjoy this whole new perspective where it's Hermione and Harry and seeing their relationship build, and I really like how strong their friendship is growing. The whole cemetery scene, that was super intimate, and I just loved it so much, especially at the fact that I don't think that it's a romantic sort of intimate. I may be totally like reaching here, but does Voldemort also experience this when Harry is feeling or thinking something particularly powerful? I think there is. I don't know. Ron is being a total jerk right now. I've always been pro Ron. He'll make really stupid mistakes, or he'll say really stupid things. Why are you so dumb? You just got something figured out between the 3 of you solo, and you're really gonna let your insecurities flare right now in this situation? Like, come on, figure it out. But yeah, I'll see you in the next reading session. Okay, so I just got home from work. I had a half day today, and I was reading on the bus. Honestly, what is wrong with you people? I don't understand why so many people wanted me to read this series. Oh my god, it's amazing. What have you been missing out on? And then you go and you throw Dobby's death at me like I'm supposed to be like, wow, yeah, this is great. That was horrible. That was really sad. It was such a noble way of him like going. Why? Why is this happening? I kind of knew that it was going to happen too, because I watched the movies a long time ago, but I kind of didn't pay attention, nor did I really even care about it back then, because I didn't read the series. I just went to the movies because my brother read the series, and so I would just like, you know, tag along. And I faintly recall Dobby dying. Everybody in the movie theater was freaking out, crying, and all sorts of things. But I just couldn't confirm it in my brain. And since I started reading the series, I asked my brother and he refused to tell me. So I read it. I hate you all. This is horrible. This is so sad. And I did cry for this one as well. I was on the bus when it happened, so it was a lot more embarrassing. I'm okay now that I've gotten the whole Dobby situation out there. And sorry if you're hearing like noise in the background. I have my AC on and it's really hot. But just to backtrack a little bit, there's this thing about the dough, and I became so obsessed with this chapter because I could not for the life of me remember who creates the dough. Who made this dough? Who? And so of course he goes and he looks it up, and he kind of spoils it for me. I don't know if it's a spoiler, if he did, or if it was mentioned before in the other books, but he did tell me that Lily Potter produces a dough Patronus. And so he told me that, but then he said that there's another character who is not dead who also produces the dough Patronus, and so it drove me mad. I couldn't figure out who it is. I still don't know who it is, but at this particular moment in time, I think it's Snape. That might not make sense, but I think it's Snape just because I faintly remember him having a connection with Lily Potter, and so because she has a dough, maybe that's why he has a dough. But I do know from reading that chapter, Harry says that the Patronus is familiar. So that means he would have had to, well, it would be familiar because Lily's Patronus, but then he would have to know that that's his mom's Patronus. I mean, he knows his dad's Patronus, so why wouldn't he know his mom's, right? So maybe he thinks it's familiar because of his mom and he's not pinpointing it, but it's actually not his mom, it's Snape. I don't know. I don't know why I'm so fixated on the idea that it's Snape. But I am. What else? So I was really obsessed with that. And then directly after that, there was the whole Deathly Hallows chapter where there was a story inside of the story, and that was super cool. I very much enjoyed it, and I kind of stand by Harry in a sense of this actually being a critical key. Not just because it's the name of the book. It's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, isn't it? Yeah, that's the name of it. So, I mean, at this point, Hermione, you're wrong on this one. It's got to be important if it's the name of the book. I started this vlog with me ranting about Dobby, but what happens afterwards is intense. There's so much going on. I didn't miss the whole thing with Draco. Something's up with Draco, and he's not about this situation anymore, and I feel like he's going to be some sort of redemption. I hope. I'm hoping that might be a cool redeeming quality of his character, seeing that he's been such a really crappy character throughout this whole series. I don't know. You've given Slytherin such a bad rap, especially because it's in the perspective of Harry. I would really like to see some of those Slytherin characters have some redeeming qualities, because I don't think they're all bad. There are certain characters where I feel like there is a bit of redemption to come, and I don't know, Draco might be one of them. And so I think that's it for this reading session. I have about 300 pages left, a little bit less than that, and so I think I can get that out in about 3 days. I have about 6 more days until my last book club meeting, and then that'll be it. Hey guys, so I'm back with another reaction, and I think since the last time we spoke, I've cried about 2 more times, so I think we're up to cry number 5, and yeah, so that's why I'm talking a little bit funny right now. It's also really early in the morning and I just got into work. Cry number 1, we're just gonna say one word, or one name rather, Fred. I think since the beginning of this series, I've been saying that the Weasleys are my favorite characters. From the get-go, I was like, don't mess with the Weasleys, let me have this family intact. And so seeing Fred go was really, really upsetting, and even more upsetting knowing the fact that, you know, his other half has to go on without him. So that really crushed me. Before I get on to my second cry, let's talk about what happened leading up to that point. So I have this theory where, well, we're finding out that Dumbledore was buried with the Elder Wand, right? And so I'm assuming he knew that Voldemort was going to come and get that wand. The Bard, the Tales of the Bard or something like that. In that story, they say that the person who sought out the wand ended up dying because they were sort of looking for greed and power. Him knowing that Voldemort was going to go after the wand more than anything else, knows that he's going to eventually fall. I don't know, I think there's some sort of dynamic there, so I think Dumbledore knows what he's doing, knowing that he was buried with the wand. I really loved the Gringotts scene. That whole adventure was like super dangerous, but at the same time it was so much fun to read. I love that so much, and I think those are great breaks in the story, especially since this one is like the darkest of the 7. What a great way to bring you back into Hogwarts with the portrait in Dumbledore's brother's house. How cool is that? I loved meeting Aberforth. He was such an interesting character. I kind of like him more than Dumbledore, to be honest. I especially loved that Neville was in the portrait guiding Harry, and I don't know, there's something about Neville's character. I just really like Neville. How annoying is it that Ron and Hermione waited to the very last book in a dire situation to finally get together? Are you serious? Well, this couple has just been so difficult from the very beginning, so I guess I should have expected that one. So now we're up to my current reading situation, and this is where I have gone to cry number 5. And cry number 5 was dealing with Snape. So Snape is dead. Oh my gosh. I felt kind of disappointed in him just dying there. I just felt like I wanted to see more with him and Harry while Snape being alive. But the fact that he gives him the memory instead of the Pensieve, I was like, okay, we're gonna get into the you know, the good stuff. And so that whole memory with Snape was super interesting. I love that dynamic and knowing about his character. When we're looking in the memory and he pulls out the Doe Patronus, I called it. If you go back a little bit more into this plot, I think it's Snape. I thought it was Snape. I was right. That was my cry number 5. So yeah. And for some reason, I don't know why I didn't cry for Lupin and Tonks, although that was so tragic, especially since they just had the kid. In the previous vlogs, I was like, come on, Lupin. Come on, things are gonna be okay, blah blah blah. And then both parents died. I feel so horrible now for the kid, but at the same time I have hope for the kid. Definitely not expecting that one. Right now, Harry has just finished seeing Snake's compilation of memories, and so he believes that he's gotta die. I don't think he dies. I mean, I don't think he dies. Like, knowing what I know about the series and like going through the years knowing that, well, anyway, I don't know, actually. I actually don't know. But I don't think he dies. Because doesn't he marry Ginny? I don't know. I don't think he dies. But anyway, he thinks that he has to die. And I think he's going to figure out some Harry Potter way to not die. And I think Dumbledore knows that. And I think the words that Dumbledore says to Snape and to Harry are so deliberate. I think he understands the people around him so well that he's able to manipulate them into thinking in a certain way so that the path goes in the way that he wants it to go. And I'm not too much of a fan of Dumbledore right now, but we'll see what happens. I have about, I would say, 70 pages left. And so I'm so close to the end. I guess my next reactions are going to be my last. And we'll see what happens. We have finally made it. Oh my god! I have started reading back in February, and it is now the middle of June, and I'm finally finished with the Harry Potter series. I didn't think it was gonna be this short, actually. I don't read series at all, and I really don't dive into books that are more than 300 pages. So I thought it was going to take me the entire year to finish this series. But because I had a time limit with my book club, I'm so happy. Oh my gosh. So before I dive into my super final thoughts, wow, what an ending. I didn't expect that the Elder Wand was going to be the very last thing that happens, like that would be the end of it. I do remember vlogging those theories about the Elder Wand and that being his downfall, but I didn't expect Harry to be the one to use the wand against him. But that was really cool, very clever, and finally, Harry, you put it together without the help of Hermione. Oh my god, the epilogue. So that was a really nice ending. It was very satisfying. I loved seeing how the friends of Hogwarts coupled together and ended up having a family together. I loved seeing Neville becoming a teacher. Teddy still going to school and, having a good life despite, not having his parents. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The biggest thing that got me in the epilogue was when, and I'm pretty sure that J.K. Rowling knew that this was going to be it, when Harry's whispering of his kids, I'm thinking the youngest kid, and his middle name is Snape's name. I was just like, oh my god, that is too good, especially for somebody who's been reading it, trying to be on Snape's side. That was pretty awesome. Okay, so final thoughts. I guess a lot of roundup questions. My favorite book of this series. I'm gonna have to go with the last book. It was super dark, and I think a lot of you guessed that one was gonna be my favorite because of how dark it was. So, yep, you guessed right, that one was my favorite. Favorite characters. Okay, so I liked the whole Weasley family. Ron in particular, I just really like him. Aside from the Weasley family, I would also say that McGonagall is one of my favorite characters, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I like Snape. I don't love Snape. I'm not like, oh my god, Snape is the best character ever, but I really do like Snape. I love his character development. I like his whole storyline, his whole path that J.K. Rowling chose for him. I thought that was great. Most tragic death. Oh my god. Well, you guys are gonna know that, of course, in book 7 were the most tragic deaths for me because I cried 5 times. I don't cry when reading books, but I think because I was so invested in this 7-book series that I grew onto these characters. But Fred was probably the worst death for me, followed by Hedwig. I know, don't make fun of me, but that one was super shocking. Another really big question that I get is if I ship the relationships that have happened. I'm gonna say, for the most part, no. I personally do not like the whole Harry and Ginny thing, although at the end it's really a really nice and satisfying ending. It's a good pair. I'm not saying that it's not. I just don't like how it came about. With Ron and Hermione, I kind of like it. It was just a matter of time. Am I still pro Snape? And I am pro Snape. I'm not anti-Snape, but I'm also not super pro Snape. In my opinion, I like reading books where the characters are problematic because it shows how real they are. I'm talking about character development. I'm not talking about, do I want this guy in my life and do I love him? His story out of the main characters were one of the best, in my opinion. Who really is gonna say that this guy is the best guy? But he's a really great character. This is a hard one. This is a really hard one. My favorite scene of the series, of the whole series, I can't tell you. I don't know. I know there's one that really pops up in my head and a lot of people are gonna think I'm lame for it, so I don't know if I want to tell you. I know my book club members know, but I do enjoy a lot of the scenes where it's very adventure-y. Those adventurous scenes are so much fun, so I really enjoy those. I enjoyed the tournament, the Triwizard Tournament. That was a lot of fun. And as much as I like those fun scenes, I really enjoy the horrible, dark, and sad story scenes. I like a mix of both. I'm just gonna tell you, the standout scene for me, please don't judge, is the scene with Molly Weasley when they're at the Sirius Black's house and she's crying over this boggart because she's seeing all of her children are dead, and she's just crying, and it just flips to each family member and it includes Harry, and I just thought that was really sad and tragic and just so raw and real, and it's not about a curse or a spell, and so I really like that personally. Okay, quick things. Hogwarts house. My Hogwarts house has always been, I've taken the quiz multiple times, I'm a Slytherin. So I had to look up what my Patronus was because I forgot, but I did remember that it was the same as J.K. Rowling's, and it's a heron. And that is it. Thank you so much for joining me on this long vlog series. My apologies if my vlog was kind of boring in some parts. I had a lot of fun recording this one. It was a lot different than, you know, doing the written one for Instagram stories. Thank you for joining me on this Harry Potter reading journey. I have been getting so much support from the very beginning. Everybody online has been super supportive and nice, and no spoilers, and, you know, no negativity. It's been just a great experience. I also want to thank my book club for, you know, getting me to read the series in the first place. I think if it weren't for them, I wasn't going to read the series ever. Thank you for pushing me to read this in a short period of time. As nervous as I was in the beginning, I didn't think that I was going to be able to do it, but I also didn't want to disappoint. But at the same time, it was such a great challenge, and I have never surpassed a challenge like that. I've never read books this size before, and so being able to do that now was a really great accomplishment for me, and I really have to thank my book club for believing that I could do it. So if you like this video, if you want to see more vlogs, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to post a lot more now that I've finished this super long series. I'm going to have a lot more time to record. So if you want to see more from me, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment below about, you know, suggestions on vlogs, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!